Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC and your daily reminder that the Reds are Premier League champions and motoring through the summer, inducing tears all over the land. We have more Alexander Isak news, we have updates, so let's get into them. So Fabrizio Romano has said, and that's of course my best friend, the most reliable man out there, he has said that Isak wants Liverpool. That's his aim. He wants to go to Liverpool. We already knew that, but it's nice to hear it. Craig Hope, though. Craig Hope is a more reliable source, especially for all things Newcastle. And he's also said it. He has also said Isak wants Liverpool, Liverpool want Isak. And he's broken down the scenario as it has played out, which is that last year, 2024, Isak was in talks for a new contract at Newcastle. And this is where this whole thing begins. Isak is in talks for a new contract at Newcastle. At that point, remember, he has over 4 years left on his deal. He's earning around £120,000 a week, but he feels, and I think rightly so, that he warrants a higher wage. And Newcastle are keen to give it to him. But then Newcastle appoint Paul Mitchell as their new sporting director. It's worth noting that Paul Mitchell was appointed by the Saudi element of the ownership. There are two distinct parties at Newcastle, one of which is the Saudis, who have the most control, and the other of which is the British contingent, which is Jamie Rubin, and included prior to that Amanda Staveley, and in their corner, Eddie Howe. But also in their corner was Alexander Isak, because Amanda Staveley played a huge role in getting him to the club. So the Saudis appoint Paul Mitchell as the new sporting director. Eddie Howe, according to Craig Hope, was unaware that this was coming. Isak was unaware that this was coming. Staveley, unaware. Rubin, probably clued in, but the Saudis went and pushed it through. Mitchell comes in, and obviously Newcastle are very tight against FFP. And they're in a situation where they know they're going to have to make a significant sale before the end of June. Now, this is where they start approaching clubs to offer players. And it's known that a conversation took place between Liverpool and Newcastle where they offered Anthony Gordon and we declined. And then we asked for Isak and they said no. And then we said, okay, well, what's the situation with Gordon? What can we actually put together here? And then there was a Gordon Gomez swap exchange type thing that was being put together. But neither team seemed overly anxious to get that deal done, and eventually it didn't happen. And Newcastle sold Jan Kuba Minta, and they sold Elliot Anderson, and that got them out of the hole they were in. But in the lead up to that, as part of their attempts to ensure that they would comply with profit and sustainability, Paul Mitchell took a look at the Isak contract situation and said, he's got 4 years left. Why would we renew his contract at this point? Let's put that on the back burner. He can play on his current contract. He's very well compensated. Let's move forward. Isak believed he had a promise from Newcastle over a new contract and was thus furious. Now, as Craig Hope points out, if you go back and look at the start of the season, Isak did not start it in particularly good form. He didn't look like a fella who wanted to be there. There was speculation about his future last summer, but obviously with 4 years left in his deal, Newcastle felt confident they could keep him. His form picks up, and he goes on and has a great season. Up until March. They win the Carabao Cup. He's playing unbelievably well. But as Craig Hope pointed out, after that, while he did continue to score, he didn't play nearly as well. He didn't look as engaged. Now, there were rumours that Isak asked in March, when it looked like they might not make the top 4 or top 5, that Isak basically asked them to leave in the summer, that he told them he wanted to move on, and that at the time they seemed quite open to it. They eventually get Champions League, but remember, he doesn't play in the Arsenal game. He's there, but he doesn't play. And Craig Hope said that was a little bit strange. He reported muscle fatigue. Seems a little bit strange. Anyway, finish up the season, into the summer, and Isak wants to go. And this has been the case all summer, that Alexander Isak has wanted to go. Now he's made it public that he wants to go. Everybody's aware that he wants to go. But as Craig Hope said, everybody at Newcastle has known this for a while. This is not a new thing. Now it's just more public. So Hope said at the end of the Isak part of his video that he did on his YouTube, that Newcastle were in a strong position because he had 3 years left on his contract. And you would think, well, that sounds about right, doesn't it? He's got 3 years left, so that does sound right. However, I saw this today. This is from an account called The Magic Hat on Twitter. And for those that don't know, he's an Arsenal fan, but I think he's a lawyer. And he's been very good with his breakdowns of the City case and everything that's going on around that. And he seems to know the laws of the game really well. So a Newcastle fan, reporter for something called NewcastleWorld.com, said that Newcastle held all the cards and they were in a really strong position and they had control. And if Isak didn't like it, he could just rot in the reserves for a year, which is obviously a very dumb thing to say. Anyway, this Magic Hat account replies and says, no, they don't. The protected period of his contract is up. It's why Isak can force a move. This Newcastle reporter replies, what fairy tale did you pluck that from? And Magic Hat replies, I wouldn't describe FIFA's regulations as fairy tales personally, but whatever. Specifically, Article 17 of the RSTP. At Grok, would you care to explain to Charlie the meaning of Article 17 of FIFA's RSTP, in particular what it means in relation to protected periods of footballers' contracts and their ability to walk away from a contract? And Grok replies, FIFA's RSTP Article 17 outlines consequences for terminating a contract without just cause. The protected period is 3 seasons or 3 years for players under the age of 28 at the point of signing. 2 years for those over 28. During this, players face 4 to 6 month bans, but not sport after no. During this, players face 4 to 6 month bans after no sporting sanctions, but compensation is due. For Isak, this is key. For Isak, signed August 2022 under the age of 28, the protected period of his contract ends in 2025. Post-period, he could terminate unilaterally, paying compensation, potentially forcing a move if unresolved. Recent Diarra reforms remove automatic new club liability unless inducement is proven. So, if he was to try and terminate his contract before the 3 years is up, he could face a ban of 4 to 6 months. After the 3 years is up, he would face no ban, but there would be a compensation case to answer. Now, again, someone has gone back into this and again asked Grok to basically give them a breakdown as to what the liability might be. And this is from 81 KGB. Isak would be primarily liable for compensation to Newcastle under FIFA or STP Article 17 post-Diarra updates, potentially 100 million plus based on remaining wages. That's about 18.5 million. Unamortized transfer fee, so it's about half the fee Newcastle paid, so 31.5 million. Assuming they split it over 6 years and not 5, we don't know that. Replacement costs and lost value, disputed via CAS. Residual value factors in contract length, salary, original fee amortization, and market specifics. Liverpool jointly liable only if inducing breach. Rare in practice due to cost. So there is a world in which if Newcastle are not prepared to play ball and sell him at 130 million, that Liverpool might make a calculated decision that it would cost less for Isak to terminate his contract, walk away, sign for us, we admit liability, and we pay 120, 110, it could be less. So, while I would imagine it's unlikely that Isak would do this, it takes away a significant portion of the control that people say Newcastle have. They do not control the situation. Isak controls the situation. And Isak's agent is a bit of an interesting character. He's got links to people that, normal agents wouldn't have links to. He's got a track record of being not exactly somebody you want to cross. And he might just be gangster enough to say, you know what, fuck it, let's just terminate the deal and walk. And we'll deal with the after effects after the fact. So, for Isak, he signed for Newcastle, like we said, August of 2022. Let's just get the exact date. The 26th of August, 2022. So, on the 26th of August, 2025, he will then be into the 4th year of his contract. And therefore, he could terminate his contract on that day. Now, I don't think Newcastle want to go that route either. And while I didn't know about this clause, and I don't know if you knew about this clause, I would imagine the people at Newcastle and at Liverpool are fully aware of this clause. So while they might project strength, I don't think they're feeling nearly as confident internally as is being put out there. The most common source of their public display of strength is, of course, our good friend Luke Edwards. Now, if you want to know about Luke Edwards' credibility as a journalist, this morning he tweeted, "Exclusive, Newcastle back in for James Trafford, working on a deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes later, Fabrizio Romano tweets, "Exclusive, James Trafford deal agreed to Manchester City." Newcastle are having a horror show of a transfer window. An absolute horror show.
Right, the Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way. With the Great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at anfieldindexpro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.